What improved your quality of life so much, you wish you did it sooner? Sleeping when I'm sleepy. Instructions unclear, fired from work. Let me introduce you to car naps. At my office, pretty much every new parent coworker would eat a quick lunch then sit in their car and nap. Or take a 20-minute coffee break in their car. You knew the car nappers because their cars would be parked in a lot that was not quite visible from the office due to some trees and the spots were shaded. When I try to take a nap, I wake up 8 hours later. Yes, mini comas, the bane of my existence. 43 years. Started exercising regularly again. 4x a week. Forget the physical benefits for a minute, the mental benefits outweigh the gains all day. This is exactly why I finally took up exercise. I've never considered myself a fitness girl by any means, but last winter my mental health took such a hit that I had to try something, and I liked it so much I'm still sticking with it. Edit, wow, thanks for the awards. For anyone interested, I use the Fit'n app. There's all kinds of cool workouts and it's free. Learning to be okay with saying no and starting off all relationships, personal and professional, with healthy boundaries. You don't ever need an excuse to say no to if you don't want to do something. Don't feel like going out with friends that night? No thank you. Don't want to work an extra shift at your place of employment if it's not mandatory? No thanks, boss. Boundaries are amazing, and when set from the beginning, they are much easier to maintain for your own mental well-being. Edit, well, this has become my highest upvoted comment. Thanks to everyone who responded with stories related to boundary setting, and stay strong if you still struggle with this. Quitting smoking. I couldn't imagine life without it back then. But man, is life better without a constant need like that, not to mention all the health benefits. Me too. I can walk and run and go upstairs without wheezing now. I like being able to laugh without coughing, too. Well, with a mouthful of penises, that might be difficult. Letting my pride and ego take hits. I used to have been such a me person in my early life. When I allowed myself to be taken down a peg or two, I started having new perspectives on life and people around me. Edit, I don't have words. Thanks so much. It's a great lesson for young people. If you're wrong about something, don't double down on it, just admit fault, learn, and keep it moving. We all make mistakes, let's quit pretending we're somehow better than everybody else. Edit, I didn't mean to imply that only young people need to learn this, I just meant it's how we prevent future adults from being insufferable. Edit 2, damn, so many rewards, thanks. It's just common sense though. This is such a hard one to get people to change, partially because of egos, but largely because it is super ingrained in everyone that it is horrible to contradict something you've said in the past, like you are either a liar or you must not have strong convictions. It's like personal growth is actively frowned upon, unfortunately. This is also something taught to us as kids. That being wrong or failing means we're stupid or didn't try hard enough, and God forbid a kid be right about something and an adult be wrong. No adult I knew when I was growing up would hear it. Children are taught one of the worst things they can be is wrong. Throwing out all my socks and buying a single type. No more looking for pairs. Flossing. I never saw the dentist as a kid, and no one really pushed me to or cared about my dental health. As an older Redditor who had poor dental hygiene growing up, keep it. Getting old sucks as it is, but it's even worse when you have a problem that could have been avoided. Cutting out alcohol. I don't criticize anyone who drinks, but I was a problem drinker. Stopping that cycle improved everything about my life. Automating simple yet time-consuming tasks, like Excel macros. You wouldn't realize how much time you save beforehand, but it sure does save heaps. Excel is a huge part of my work. Where do I learn this stuff? Thank you. A good starting point is to enable the developer ribbon in Excel. Google it, it's easy. Next, don't bother trying to write any VA, just record a macro for a simple, but repetitive task, like moving to a certain cell and pasting. Recording a macro is as easy as pressing the record button, doing a few things in Excel, and pressing the stop button. Now, every time you run that macro, it repeats what you recorded. You can assign a keyboard shortcut to launch it. Again, Google is your friend. Next, look at the VA behind the macro you just made. That's what you'll be writing yourself once you learn a bit more. Mess around with the code, see what happens when you change bits. This will give you a feel for it. Once you're at this stage, start reading beginner-level tutorials on Va. You can record something similar to what you want, then fine-tune it for a lot of tasks, so you don't need to be an expert to build some really useful macros that can literally shave hours off your day. This is exactly what I did. Soon after doing this, I started to get addicted to optimizing my macros, and that's how I learned basic intermediate Va. Good advice. Deleting all the people from high school I don't see anymore from social media. I did this too. Was one of my best decisions. Social media has never been a kind place for me. Working from home in it. Duck, this environment and industry fit me like a glove. WFH is amazing. I can't imagine ever wanting to commute for work again. No more losing time, money and sleep. I love having ownership over my schedule. I went back to office work half the time. It is nice to see everyone, but once I start working I hate it. 99% of people spend a maximum 6 hours a day working. The time sitting at my desk for image between 3 to 5 are absolutely brutal. Everyone can see my desk and laptop, no Reddit, no anything. I grind away for 6 hours to scroll through the same shit I've seen on LinkedIn 100 times. At home, I am more comfortable. Can get a lot of administrative busy work done when I have a TV show or movie I've seen a million times playing in the background. For serious need to be on top of it stuff, I have my basement. Duck driving in the car for over an hour every day to say hello to people. I work in auto parts, and moving to a non-customer facing position was great. It helps that I have a boss that understands that there isn't always work needing to be done. Sometimes you're going to have downtime, and that's okay. Also, we can play music. The workday goes so much smoother when I can dick around a little bit, play some tunes, and get into a bit of rhythm where I don't just feel like a monotonous drone. Eating healthy. It's amazing after you realize how much you feel like shit after you just took down a double cheeseburger, extra large fries, and a large Coke, but at the time, you don't realize it and just think you're tired. Good eating habits and exercising changed my life. Drinking more water. Edit, thank you everyone for the awards and upvotes. When I got my first real job, I still had no money. The options for something to drink at work were either paying for a soda or water, which was free. One day of drinking water all day, no coffee, no soda, just water, and I had this holy shit. I've just been thirsty for the past 25 years. Moment, and I never looked back. Water. Or beer. That's it. Same, if you ever see me drinking anything that isn't water, it has alcohol in it. Hiking in the mountains. Nothing makes me feel more at peace and excited at the same time. Seeing a therapist. My dad died when I was 16 and I never saw or really talked to anyone about it till I was in my 30s, so many years wasted being angry and sad. I was very shy and self-conscious, but at some point I started just living how I wanted. I already wasn't popular, what was I risking? Girls still wouldn't be interested? I guess I just started doing things I'd been afraid to do before, including being more outgoing. I know this sounds like generic advice, but it really worked for me. Every time your brain says no, that wouldn't work out, or no, what would people think, or any other version of no, don't try, it's a perfect opportunity to do something you feel drawn to. Dye your hair pink. Try painting even though you know you'll suck at it. Fart and then say it was me. Okay, maybe not the last one. How do you shut out that self-conscious voice that thinks it knows the outcome of every situation? There's always something telling me why I shouldn't or can't do something I'm scared of. For me, it took acknowledging my own adulthood and really, truly gripping the fact that even if I duck up, once I decide I'm going to do it, I'll do it and deal with the consequences. I work in road, and I still have to remind myself that for every one project that goes right, there are going to be 99 that flop and just don't go the way I want. But if I don't do those other 99 and learn from them, I'll never get that magical happy feeling when it hits the bullseye. Being scared is fine. Being so scared that it prevents you from living requires a lot of willpower to overcome. Cutting out toxic friends. After years of knowing someone, it can be hard to see that they are no longer the person they were when the relationship started. My childhood best friend grew into a manipulative, selfish prick. For years I hung out with him almost every day after work and always felt miserable afterwards. Everyone around me questioned why I still spent time with him. I always made excuses that seem ridiculous in hindsight. I should have cut ties 10 years ago. I am struggling with making this transition. One of my best friends growing up is honestly an immensely selfish person today. It pains me knowing that when I make this next change, there is a real possibility that they will pretty much stop existing in my life. I know it has to happen because it would be best for me, but the fear of losing an old friend is crippling. The reality is they are already lost and I need to move on for my own well-being.